Hey YouTube, it's Marita and welcome to another edition of the Nurse Lounge. In this edition, we are going to talk about the entitled nursing student. If you want to see what I'm talking about, please stay tuned. Welcome back. My name is Dr. Marita P. I am a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for 16 years. I am an OB/GYN, well, baby nursery nurse. I'm an associate professor at an HBCU. I am doctorally prepared. Now that we have that out the way, let's talk about this entitled nursing student. So I often don't get on my channel to bash anyone, and I'm not per se bashing students even today, but I am someone who's direct and to the point and will tell you what I am dealing with in the classroom. And so this video is actually as a result of what I am dealing with in the classroom. So what do I mean by the entitled nursing student? Well, nursing is what I teach, so that's why I say the entitled nursing student. But in general, this generation that we have right now is just entitled anyway. Millennials are a little bit more entitled. That's just kind of how they grew up. So what challenges are posed when dealing with the entitled nursing student? That's what I'm actually going to dissect in this video today. So first and foremost, I've mentioned this a time or two in my other videos about the No Child Left Behind Act. The No Child Left Behind Act was actually installed by or enacted by one of the Bushes. I'm not sure it was the father Bush or the son Bush, but one of the Bushes enacted the No Child Left Behind Act. Well, those children have now grown up and they are now going to college. So what does that mean when it comes to No Child Left Behind? What happened in that time period? Well, in that time period, the gist of the act was that no child was left behind. You didn't fail classes. You got good grades, but you wasn't held to the same standard, meaning that if you didn't turn something in, then you may get a chance to get half credit for it. So you didn't turn something in, but you still didn't fail it. You may have got a 70 on it, which if you got that kind of student who don't care about that, I'll take the 70 and not even do no work for it. That's fine with me as long as I pass. Well, those kinds of students have now grown up. Or better yet, they have become accustomed to getting curves on their tests. They're accustomed to getting extra credit. That's what they're used to. Well, they come to college, at least to our program, and they realize, or they find out very quickly, there is no extra credit. There is no curves. I'm not throwing out any tests or any assignments. I'm not going to take out your lowest assignment because you earned everything that you got. So if you come in doing the work to do the work, then you'll be fine. The entitled nursing student in this situation is a part of that generation of being millennials, is also part of the generation of the No Child Left Behind Act. So what am I dealing with is with students who don't think fat meat is greasy. They come into nursing thinking that, oh, this sounds fun. I'm going to make some money. I'm going to look cute in my scrubs. I'm going to get these fitted scrubs. I'm going to look cute, this, that, and the other. Sis, you in here for the wrong reasons, and I'm going to make sure that you find out quickly that you're here for the wrong reasons. So in my particular class, what does that student look like? What does that student, when I say look like, I don't mean physical features, but what does an entitled nursing student look like? So the entitled nursing student has these qualities. He or she is expecting to do minimal work, minimal effort to get maximum grade. They don't want to do any work. They want to turn they don't want to do any work. They want to put any effort into it, and they want to get 100 on it. So for instance, I have what's called a ticket to class, meaning that you have to do this pre-work in order to get into my class, the next class session. And the instructions say, write a paragraph regarding whatever the topic happens to be. And if you have a reference, use your reference. Put in your reference APA format, 7th edition, and so forth. How about the paragraph was 2 sentences long, which 2 sentences does not constitute a paragraph. So I guess I need to be more specific next time when I say a paragraph. But if my third grade son can write a paragraph with 6 sentences in it, don't tell me a college student can't do the same. So again, minimal effort. They wrote a 2-sentence paragraph. Their reference said the book, Didn't put the title, didn't even have the wrong format. It just said the book. They got a complete 0 for that assignment. A complete 0. They showed minimal effort, and they wanted max. Then they want to come back and say, well, why come I didn't get 100? Because you didn't do 100. You didn't do 100 quality work. So again, they want minimal effort. They want maximum results. They are typically procrastinators. So I've had several students, our tickets to class are due at 9 a.m. or were due at 9 a.m. in the morning. Well, the student decided they're going to upload at 8:59. And when the thing changes to 9 o'clock, it closes it automatically. It closes the box automatically. Dropbox automatically. So then I get an email saying, I tried to submit my assignment, but it wouldn't let me. It closed at 9 o'clock. Well, that's what it was designed to do. But why did you wait till 8:59 in the morning when you had a whole week to do it, to turn it in? Well, time got away from me. A whole week got away because I opened my Dropbox immediately when class is over from the previous week. And you have until class starts the next week of class to do a 1-paragraph assignment that you can't get done. So I said, you know what? You get a 0. And they're like, what? I can't believe I get a 0. You didn't do the work. You procrastinated. You cannot procrastinate in my class. You can't procrastinate as a nurse. You just can't do it. So yes, they got 0s. Another one besides procrastination is nothing is ever their fault. Oh, when they all bombed their test, well, I'll say not all, when majority of them bombed their test, it was my fault because I never taught the material. But then I showed them the PowerPoint where it came from, which we went over in class, that they had nothing to say. They had nothing to say. You failed the test because you didn't prepare for the test. That was your fault, not mine. Then they say, well, I want to go talk to the director. Well, they don't understand there's a chain of command. So you have to talk to me first because the issue is with me. Once you talk to me, if you're ready, if it's still not resolved, then next you do go to the director or whoever the next chain of command, up the chain of command. They don't understand that concept of chain of command and etiquette in that way. Another issue with the entitled nursing student, when they address me via email, they're like, hey, never in my day would I've ever addressed an instructor as hey. Someone who has authority over me, someone who makes my grade, and you're going to think I'm going to address them as hey in an email? So they lack professionalism, number one, or etiquette, or both. Or number 1 and 2, they lack professionalism and etiquette. That is an issue for me. So you know what? When it comes to you all, not you all, but when they say hey, I said, hey is not how you address your instructor. So until you decide that you want to know proper greetings, things like that, I won't be answering your email. So then they have to go back and redo their email. So I have to use these approaches to teach them how to be adults, how to handle business, because they have not been taught that because they've been entitled to get whatever they want when they want it. Part of that is due to parenting. The other part of that is due to the school systems. And you marry those two together, you end up with the student that I have today. And again, this is not 100% of everybody who are of that age bracket, but this is a vast majority of this generation of students where they're also like, okay, can you give me a study guide and tell me what's exactly going to be on the test? No, because guess what? I don't even know what's on NCLEX. So when you go take NCLEX, there's no study guide. There's study material, but you don't know what questions you're going to get on the NCLEX. You don't know how many questions you're going to get on the NCLEX. So we actually mimic our nursing program to emulate what you will see on the NCLEX. So we have the same standards. We only give 1 minute per question to answer their questions on our exams. We don't allow you to go backwards, meaning that once you answer that question, you can only go forward. You can't go back to number 1 and answer that or change your answer. You have to think through it at that moment in time, answer the question, and keep moving. Everything we do in our program is meant to get you prepared for the boards. So when you say, oh, well, you didn't teach that material. Well, guess what? If it was an assigned chapter that you had to read, so if I tell you to read chapter 11, but I couldn't go through the entire chapter in 2 hours because that's how long our class session is, that is your responsibility to read the rest of the material because it's still testable material. Just like on the NCLEX, I had a question on the NCLEX that I have never, ever, ever been discussed in nursing school. But I had to use my critical thinking experiences and my critical thinking mindset and use my clinical judgment to say, how would I best answer this question? Which 2 of these distractors can I rule out? Type of thing. So the entitled nursing student is always wanting to be handed to be catered to to be coddled, which I don't do, to be pampered, to be given the answers, to here's the test in essence, or here's the test as a quiz. There's a quiz as the test, and then we're gonna give you the exact same questions again. It doesn't work that way. Or they want questions that teach you at the knowledge level and test you at that same level, when the NCLEX actually tests you at the application level. So if you understand Bloom's taxonomy, you know there's knowledge level questions, there's comprehension level questions, there's application analysis and so forth type of questions. And your knowledge questions are your basic questions, like what is COPD? And then your answers would be COPD is a rash, which you know that ain't right. COPD is a breathing condition, da 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 da. Okay, that's probably the correct answer. COPD, that's a knowledge question. What is it? That means you're only able to regurgitate facts. That's not good enough. You need to know what it is, plus how to take care of a patient with that disease process, which means you need to know how to apply it. Students don't know how to do that. And part of that is because of the fact of what I just told you. They don't know how to do it because they were never been forced to do anything that they didn't want to do, which is called work. So again, this video is not to bash students by any means. This is just letting you know these are kind of students that I am dealing with in terms of they are the entitled student. If you happen to be one of these entitled students, I do want to tell you it's time to kind of get out of that mindset of being entitled and to realize that you are wanting to be a registered nurse or a nurse period, whether it be LPN or RN. You're wanting to be a nurse. And in order to be a nurse, you have to understand that we are preparing you to take care of patients and to take care of them to make them better, not worse. And when you have 7 or 8 or 6 or 7 patients a piece, and you don't know how to take care of those patients, that falls back on us, partially. And for me, I won't have anybody coming from me saying they didn't learn anything. If you didn't learn nothing, it's because of you. It's because you didn't learn anything. Not because of the fact that I didn't put forth the effort in teaching you what you needed to know. So be mindful of that as well. Now, with all that being said, the entitled student tends to have poor study habits. And I have another video on studies, things you should be studying, and am I ready for nursing school, things like that. They have poor study habits. They may not realize that you actually have to study in nursing school to be prepared. Now, I will say this, and this is something I told my nursing students, my pre-nursing students, about nursing school in general. If you are used to making straight A's in your general education classes, which is your English, your history, your math, your sociology, psychology, things like that. If you're used to making A's in your general education classes, you will not be making A's 9 times out of 10 in your nursing classes. So I always say, if you're making B's in nursing school, that's equivalent to an A in your general ed classes, because it's just hard. If you're used to making B's in your general ed classes, or you're used to making C's, or if you make C's in general ed, let me start over. If you make C's in nursing school, that's like making B's in general ed. Hopefully you see what I'm saying here. What you are used to in nursing school, or what you're used to in general ed classes, is going to be that much more of a rigor in your nursing school classes. So I come in, I was making straight A's. Okay, if you were making straight A's because you got extra credit, because it was curved, because they threw stuff out, you wasn't really making an A. You really wasn't. So I want also to put that on you as well. I'm going to say it again. If you were making straight A's because of the fact that you were getting good grades because the grades were curved, because you were getting extra credit, or because they were throwing out your lowest grade, you did not make an A in the class. Truly, you didn't. Which probably means you really didn't know the material. Which probably means you may not be ready for nursing school. If you don't have a strong foundation in your science classes, specifically sciences, H&P or human anatomy, physiology, micro, pathophysiology, if you have to take that class, chemistry, if you have to take that class, AAP 1 and 2, which everybody should be taking. If you don't have a strong foundation in at least that, you are not going to do as well in nursing school. You're going to struggle. I'm not saying you couldn't catch up, but you're going to struggle because you don't know the foundations of nursing. So again, the entitled nursing student expects me to go back and reteach things they should have learned earlier on, and we don't do that in nursing school. We don't reteach anything. You should have already come prepared for that. Which takes me to the T's. The T's exam kind of lets us know who's really ready and who's really not ready for this rigor of a program. So be mindful of that. And one last thing on the entitled nursing student is they want to talk to their instructors as if we are peers, as if we're at the same level. The one thing I always tell my students, I already got what you're trying to get and then some. I already have my BSN. I already have my MSN, and I already now have my DNP. I already done been there and done that. And a lot of the students think that I don't know the game. I don't know how the game is played. Okay, like I tell you all the time, you all up here playing checkers when I'm playing chess. Okay, I know the game. I know the strategies. I know what you try to do to try to get over. You're not slick. I was a student at least 4 times. I have 4 degrees. So I'm not one you can run that game on me when it comes to being a student. And, oh, my computer crashed. Oh, this, that, and the other. Oh, this, that, and the other. My camera don't work. Okay, well, you get a 0. Get a 0. Just that simple. So if you can't, one more thing that the entitled student does when it comes, so we've been doing classes via Zoom. We actually do a hybrid program where they come to campus a couple of days a week or a couple of days a month, and then the rest of the time is on via Zoom. And via Zoom, I have learned that people come to class via Zoom dressed like anything. They be propped up in their beds. I'm like, okay, you still in class. You don't be in bed in your class. You need to go to a location in which you can sit upright, where you can turn your camera on. You don't have no bonnets on. You don't have no do-rags on. You don't have any rollers in your hair. You come to class prepared to come to class. Because I know for a fact, majority of the time, you're not coming to class looking like that when you first come to class. When you come to class in person. So definitely have some etiquette about you, some professionalism about you, that you at least gonna come looking the part, okay? I'm not saying that your wig gotta be completely on straight, but at least throw it up on there. Do something to your head. I'm not saying you gotta wear makeup, but at least look like you have the crust out your eyes, okay? I'm not saying you gotta have on lipstick, but your lips are chapped. Put some lip balm on, some Carmex on, put something on. Come looking the part. Because I come to class looking the part. Even though, for instance, my class is via Zoom, I come looking something like this to class. So you see me online, but I come looking like I prepared for class. I come looking like I just didn't roll out the bed 2 minutes ago. I come prepared for class. And that's what I expect my students to do, to come prepared for class. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. But the entitled nursing student is setting themselves up for failure. And once they get to our program, specifically our program, we weed those students out pretty quick. Either we weed them out or they get it together. They get unentitled, shall I say. And so a lot of them have a rude awakening when they come to the program. They realize, okay, you know what? If I really want to do this, I'm going to have to straighten up. I'm going to have to turn my work in on time. I can't procrastinate. I'm going to have to make sure I use full sentences. I know how to use punctuation and grammar. I know how to use APA. I know how to do all these different things. They will learn. If they don't get it together, they're going to fail the program. It's up to you which one you want to do. Because I won't say we don't care, but you're the one who spent your hard-earned money to fail a class. Think about that. If you want to fail, if you spend thousands of dollars for a class and you fail it because you don't put no effort in, that is you. You got the grade that you earned, and I happily will give it to you. I had about 4 or 5 students who failed this semester, and it's neither here nor there. You didn't do the work. I had a student who sat there and said, oh, a 83 is a C. I wanted to be a 84. Can you give me an 84? I said, did you earn an 84? Well, no, but I thought you would round up. You don't qualify to round up. You have to have an 83.5 to round up, and you just have an 83. So you have a C. So again, no, you have to earn everything in nursing school. Nothing is given. You have to earn it. So I'm telling you this because I want you to understand that if you truly want to be a nurse, and you really want to be the best nurse you can be, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. There is nothing worse than a lazy nurse. I loathe a lazy nurse. And so that's what we don't want. We don't want lazy nurses. We want, nurses to say, okay, you know what? I'm here because I truly have a passion for caring for patients and taking care of them. And I'm going to demonstrate that right now in this program about how good I'm going to be when I get out there. That's what I'm saying. Thank you for watching this video. Definitely follow me on IG if you still choose to. The handle will be somewhere on the page. Please like, share, comment. As usual, let's talk or chat in the comments. I'm Dr. Marita P. You all take care. Bye-bye.